If you are a person that is constantly walking around here like, this isn't gonna work, this isn't gonna work, this isn't gonna work, it's not gonna work, obviously. Like, you're making sure of that. So hey y'all, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Jay. If you're not new here, welcome back. If you are new, go ahead and subscribe because you're gonna love it here. Drop a comment down below. I wanted to do a video today about the top 10 lessons I learned in my early 20s, because y'all, them 20s, they'll do it to you, okay? I wanted to take some time today to like jump into this video because it is a new year. I feel like we're all just kind of needing like the motivation, those lessons, literally all of that. So if you're in your 20s or you're in your late 20s, even if you're in your 30s, okay, you can probably learn from some of this. Everybody has like a different path in life. We all reach like our milestones, our goals, our ups, our downs. We all hit them at different points in time. So regardless of who you are, this could be a video for you. So make sure you stick around because I put some good ones in. Go ahead and drop a comment down below, like the video, and let's get into it. Now the first one is going to be embracing self-discovery. Now during our early 20s, we have like this perfect time to explore things, figure out what makes us tick, what we like, what we don't like. Like, this is the best time to be doing that. It's a time where we can jump into our passions, our interests, just kind of like go into, okay, I want to try this, or maybe I'll like this, you know, all of that without like judgment. Judgment is limited when you're in your 20s. It's sad to say that judgment is a thing anyways. I feel like when you're in your early 20s, you have room to make more mistakes because you're learning, you're growing. Ultimately, you're in an early adulthood. So you're still just trying to figure out kind of like what's wrong and what's right for you. Now, when I first got into my 20s, I really thought this was like about to be the time of my life. Like, I thought I was about to just go out and live my dreams to the fullest. Like, things were just gonna happen how I wanted them to happen, and little did I know
that's not how it was going down.
So this is just me like helping you realize, like, if things are going wrong, they're supposed to. Like, that's normal. It's never gonna go how we had it planned in our head, and sometimes that works out for the better, even if it pisses us off. Now during this time, I did realize that like the more I knew myself, the better off I was gonna be in life. Like I said, you know, figuring out what you like and the things you like to do helps you either go towards those things or run in the completely opposite direction. Like, it's completely based on you. Now, it was really during the times where I felt the most lost. Like, it can't get any worse. This is rock bottom. During those times, that's when I really learned the most about myself. That's when I learned, okay, like, this is what I need to be doing, and this is what I need to back the fuck up from it. Like, really. But like, if I'm being honest, that is true. Like, that's when I learned, okay, yeah, this isn't for me. Like, I need to chill on this, or hey, I need to run at this 100 miles per hour. Now, one thing that helped me the most during like discovering myself and all of that was finding people that had like a similar mindset, putting yourself around those individuals, those people that have similar goals to you, or maybe like want to go in a similar direction. Being around those people, seeing how they live their life, what habits they have, what strategies they have for getting things done, and you know, things like that, that's ultimately going to help you grow as well. It's also going to help you learn some of the things that they already know and apply those things in your life. Now, another thing that I'm like really big on is stepping out of your comfort zone. The more you do this, the more you realize who you are, because like I said, the whole point of this is to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what pisses you off, what you love, all of the above. So get out of your comfort zone as much as possible. Now, throughout this whole time, I did realize that like discovering yourself or becoming who you are isn't a start and stop type of situation. It's more of a lifelong thing that you're like continuously gonna go through, because you're always changing, you're becoming a new person, you're getting older. That's not something you're ever gonna complete. It's consistent. Like, you're gonna have to work on it every day, every chance you get. Now, my next thing is definitely like high up on the list, is gonna be prioritizing your mental and your physical health. Neither one of them is more important than the other, but you need to be focused on both. If you can't focus on both, pick one, focus on that, and then pick up on the other one when you have a chance to. But in your early 20s, it's easy to neglect these things because you feel like, okay, I don't have to work out, I don't have to eat healthy, I'm young, nothing's gonna happen to me, I don't need a therapist, therapy is for crazy people. I don't know, like, everybody has their beliefs, but that's like really common in your 20s because you just don't quite know yet. But here's the thing, self-care, mental health, mindset, all of that should never be neglected. It is super important to becoming the person you want to be and actually being able to do the things that are going to get you there. Now, I used to struggle with anxiety and stuff really bad when it came to certain things, which caused my mental health to like not be in a good place. But once I realized that it's okay to seek help or ask for help, whether that's podcasts, therapy, YouTube, whatever you can find, like just like you're watching this video right now, you're seeking that help, you're seeking the guidance, and those things ultimately are going to help you get to the next step. Now let's shift over to physical health, because like I said, they're both just as important. So imagine if you go 3 days without eating and then you try to clock in and work a 10-hour shift. How do you think that's gonna make you feel? Probably not good, right? It's those simple things like eating, skincare, having a morning and a night routine, and it doesn't have to be something completely in depth. It doesn't have to be a 10-step skincare routine. It just needs to be something you can do and you can manage and that makes you feel good. So waking up in the morning and doing those things that make you feel good, whether it's working out, going on a walk, you can walk your dog, you can do yoga, whatever it is that like is going to help you have a more peaceful and productive morning, do that. Try to like fit in the exercise point of it somewhere in there. That way, you know, you're kind of killing both. So you're tackling the mental health portion of it, the mindset, and then you have the physical by either working out or walking your dog, whatever you choose to do. Now, although it may not seem important, having physical fitness or having like movement is going to make like a big change throughout your day. But even if that's something as simple as stretching for 20 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, do it every day and watch how that small habit makes a big change in your day, your mindset, your fitness, all of the above. Number 3 is going to be to surround yourself with supportive people, whether that's your friends, your family, your classmates, your teachers, whoever it is. Surround yourself with that. Having those positive people around you that believe in you, whether it's like celebrating your victories or getting through the challenges, having supportive people around you is going to like help you to realize who you don't need in your life. And I know like that sucks to say, but typically like we all have those people that just kind of cling to us. They've been in our life forever, and sometimes those can be the people that are holding you back. I hate to say it, but it is true. Reciprocity is one of my favorite things. I love the word. I always bring it up. Like, that's my favorite word. I always was like, how do you have a favorite word? But I realized it, like, reciprocity is my favorite word. But my point in saying that is to treat other people how you want to be treated. So if you have like this friend that is really supportive, they show up for everything, they buy from your business, or they like your pictures on social media, whatever it is, if they're supporting you, do the same. If they're there when you need something, be there for them. If they give you a shoulder to cry on, you better let them put a booger or 3 on your shoulder. Like, I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be reciprocated the same way, but if they support you in something you value, something you love, or something you think is important, you need to do the same for them. So number 4 is going to be embracing failure and learning from it. We all fail. Like, okay, like I can't even tell you how many times I failed, and you have too. So don't do that. Like, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail even more in your 20s. I hate to say it. It's gonna happen even more in your 20s. Like I said, you're young. You're trying to figure it out. Like, you're really just trying to figure out what is the next best thing for me to do to get what I want, like my end goal. And so, you know, challenges are gonna come with that, and sometimes you're gonna fail, and that's just what's gonna happen. But once you really put a focus on this and you shift your mindset, you look at failures completely different. Embracing failure isn't about avoiding the mistakes you made, like throwing a rug over them like they never happened. It's really about like, what can I learn from this? Why did this happen? Now you're probably wondering like, okay, well, how can I do that? Don't only cope with failing, use it to leverage like personal and professional growth. So like, oftentimes when you buy something or you click on something, it's because somebody told you that they did it. It's because somebody told you, hey, I failed and then I did this and this is what helped. Or they told you immediately, this brought me this, so you should do it too. Accepting these things will help you get closer to your goals, teach you resilience, patience, all things you need to be a successful person and a person that you can be proud of. And lesson number 5 is setting meaningful goals. I think everybody on this earth has goals. Like, if you don't have some goal, it could be a goal to eat chicken for dinner tomorrow. Like, it could really be a goal for anything. We all have goals, whether they're big or small. We have them. They're there. So when you set meaningful goals, this is pretty much like creating a blueprint or what you want to accomplish. Like, you're gonna have like a big goal, and setting the small goals that'll help you get to that. It's kind of like setting yourself up for success. Like, you're giving yourself the blueprint. Like, hey, I want to do this, but I need to do this, this, and this before I can get here. So it all really in turn lines up, and you'll realize that the more you start to do it. But you have to be able to define your goals. So you're gonna have to like get clear on that. Like, what do I want to do? What makes me happy? What am I passionate about? The clearer you are on these things, the more powerful you become, because you know exactly what you want. Therefore, you can like put the steps in place to get that, so you know exactly where you're going. Now, once you have these like small goals in place to get to the goal that's up here, you need to prioritize them. So like, what is most important? What needs to be done first? What is going to bring me the greatest value or return on investment? Like, which one needs to be done before the other to allow you to have like the most growth? Doing this will help you stay organized, so you'll be setting yourself up for success, because you know, I don't have to be obsessed upset about not getting this goal because I haven't gotten this one yet. Like, I know that there's something that comes before this. Instead of just saying, hey, I want a big house, you know, like maybe have a goal on there to get a certain credit score or something like that. And, you know, when it comes time for you to get a house and you don't get it, you didn't even think about the credit score because you didn't have it written down. You didn't have it set as a goal. But having it as a goal, you walk into it already prepared for what could have stopped you but didn't. Whatever you do, make sure you don't overload yourself. Progress takes time. And like I said, we all have different timelines in life. So what I'm meant to accomplish at the age of 26, you might be meant to do at 21 or vice versa. So we are all completely different. And when we reach certain goals, it's going to be different than, you know, our friend Sarah or our boyfriend John. When it comes to achieving these goals, setting these goals, make sure you celebrate the milestones, like the small things, the things that you think don't matter. Make sure you celebrate them because, yeah, I know a lot of people that reach these goals, and I'm personally myself one of them. The goal seems so small that you don't celebrate it. But since I've started to celebrate my goals, for example, reaching 300 subscribers on YouTube, right? Doing that, like celebrating those small things, is going to keep me excited. It's going to keep me into the goals and making sure I accomplish them. So make sure you get excited and you celebrate those small milestones. So starting today and the rest of 2024, I want you to set clear goals, set small actionable goals that'll help you get to those big goals, and keep it up throughout the whole year. Watch how 6 months or 8 months of doing this is going to make a tremendous change. Next up is going to be to continue to embrace growth and learning. The more you embrace learning and the more you're open to learning certain things and being exposed to those new concepts that you may not have been aware of, or trying something you've never tried, being open to learning is one of the things that got me to where I am today, and being willing to try certain things because I've learned, you know, when you try them, and like I said, going back to this, getting out of your comfort zone, when you start trying new things and learning new things, you'll notice a world of a difference. Whether you're a student, a content creator, a teacher, a firefighter, whoever you are, there's always room to like continue learning and expand on your knowledge. One way to make sure like you don't stop the progress of learning is to try something different. So if you're a person that likes books, for example, try listening to podcasts. Like, I was not a podcast person maybe 3 years ago, but now I listen to a podcast every day or every other day, maybe 2 times a day, just kind of depends on what I'm doing. But if you've been a person that likes to read books, try podcasts. If you've been a person that likes podcasts, try books. I know a lot of people like to use YouTube for entertainment purposes, pranks, things like that, but there are people out here in the world that only use YouTube to like look up things that are knowledgeable to them. So like, if you're not a person that does that, maybe try. Like, this video is a perfect example of looking up something to kind of like get further knowledge on it. But yeah, just making sure you're switching it up. Try reading some blogs, you know, doing things like that are gonna allow you to be exposed to different types of knowledge, even if it is about the same thing. One thing I recommend is making it a habit. So learning, I really do believe in the saying, you learn something new every day. Now, sometimes you have to dig for it, but I carry myself on this. Like, I really do try and look for or remember something that I learned every day. And sometimes it does get difficult, but if you make it a habit to ask yourself like, hey, what did I learn today? It's gonna force you to think about it, therefore making you remember what it is you learned, kind of helping you retain that thought or that knowledge just a little bit better. And lastly, for continuing to learn is gonna be being open-minded. So there are things that like I recommend to people, that people have recommended to me, that I almost immediately will brush off because I'm like, yeah, no, that ain't me. But then I've later learned in life that that same exact thing someone was recommending turned out to be exactly me. Like, I recall somebody telling me years ago, oh, you should do YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, no, girl, I want to be a lawyer. Like, and look at where we are today, like me on YouTube. And number 7 is going to be practicing mindfulness and self-reflection. When you do things like this, it can bring clarity and peace and so much more to your life because you're reflecting on what has happened or being mindful of what could happen. By focusing on being more aware in the present moment, you can reach further within to just kind of pay attention to those things that are going to help propel you and get you to like what it is that you're passionate about or what your purpose is. Take just a moment each day. It could be while you're brushing your hair, putting on your shoes. Think about like what you're grateful for. Think about what it is that made you happy yesterday. Reflect on that. Be mindful of that. That way, you know, sometimes you can replicate. Like, if you realize you really enjoy sitting on your balcony and drinking coffee in the morning, continue to do that. You know, maybe you can add another habit on there and do what people would call habit stacking. So that is definitely an option. Reflecting doesn't always have to be on something negative that happened. It can be on something that you're hoping to happen, and reflect on, you know, the thoughts you've had of it. Meditation is another great option to be more mindful and aware in the present moment. I know a lot of people struggle with meditation. If you are a person that like wants to get into this, but you don't know about it, I'm going to go back into saying podcasts, YouTube videos. All of them are like super helpful for breaking meditation down a bit more. You even have some people that have like those beginner guided meditations. Over time, meditation will help you be more calm, therefore allowing you to be more present. Like a lot of people are in survival mode, or maybe they're paranoid. They're always so focused on other things, and things like meditation can allow you to be more calm. That way you have more time to like process those thoughts, more time to be grateful, to be passionate, to just like feel these things. A lot of times journaling can even help. When you journal, you write down like your emotions, your feelings. You could be a person that likes to write it as if it's already happened in a manifesting standpoint or like an affirmation standpoint. A lot of times that does help. I have personally done that in the past. So instead of saying I will work out today, you could say I'm glad that I got a good workout in today. You know, things like that, just kind of getting your mind ready for how you'll feel once you've accomplished it, or just kind of encouraging yourself to be more likely to do it. Now, mindfulness, meditation, manifestation, all of those, they affect people differently, and a lot of people believe them differently. So how I look at them may not be how you look at it, and how you look at it might not be how she looks at it. At the end of the day, they are things that help, and they are things that you can look into trying. Just remember that that specific journey is personal, so it's not going to look like anybody else's. If, you know, meditation worked for your friend, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And, you know, just because manifestation works for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for the next person. So you have to figure out what works for you and just kind of go from there. Practicing these strategies allows you to get deeper with yourself and understand yourself more. And honestly, I can't think of anything better than like getting to a point where I actually understand myself and what I want. Doing things like this are very likely to bring about positive changes. So if that does happen, embrace it, accept it, and just know that like it was meant to happen. It was meant for you, and just go with it. Next up is going to be embracing change. Being able to embrace change and adapt to changes are what sets a lot of people apart from the next person. Change is inevitable. Everything changes. There's always something changing around you. At like, for example, time is always changing. It never stops. It continues to flow. So the more you can like be able to be in the presence of change and adapt to it, the better off you're going to be. A lot of people will let their resistance to change keep them from trying new things, from going out and like getting those experiences, from a lot of stuff. Like, if I'm being honest, when you are afraid of change, that can like hold you in a place, that can keep you in a place that you do not want to be, because you're so afraid to step out of that box, step out of your comfort zone, try something new, and just see where it takes you. It goes back into being open-minded. When you're open-minded, you're more willing to take those chances and experience the change. And then the more you are exposed to change, the more you grow and are able to adapt to it, because you're constantly changing. You're always in a situation that's changing. Establishing a support system is important when you are in a situation where change is present. If you have like people and friends around you that like you're familiar with, having them present to go through these changes a lot of times can be very helpful. Now, being okay with change is not something that's going to happen overnight. I'm not going to lie to you. If you're a person that's like used to routines and stuff, I will say it may be a little harder for you. It may take more time, but it hits everybody differently. So the best way to be able to deal with change is to what? Put yourself in situations that are changing. Step outside your comfort zone, break the box, and just do something new. Always subject yourself to being able to try something new. That way you're constantly experiencing the change. All right, and number 9 is cultivating a positive mindset. Y'all, this, I don't know why this wasn't number 1 at the top of the list, because I really didn't put them in any order, but let me tell you, your mindset is going to make or break you. If you are a person that is constantly walking around here like, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, it's not going to work, obviously. Like, you're making sure of that. Like, your mindset is going to always either put you up here or put you down here. It's really all about how you look at things. Your mindset can easily change your reality. A great example of this is if you feel like people that wake up at 10 in the morning are lazy, then you're going to look at those people completely different. Those people that wake up at 10, you're going to look at them like the worst people on earth at this point. But if you're a person that believes you shouldn't wash your hair every day, you're also going to think that a person that washes their hair every day is a bad person, because you have different beliefs than them. When you have a certain mindset towards things, it's going to affect the reality of what is actually in front of you. It's going to affect how you look at it, ultimately affecting how you respond to it. So make sure you are doing things that elevate your mindset and not make it worse, I guess you would say. Now, one way to do this is to be aware of your thoughts. Going back to being present, being aware of your thoughts. So when something happens that you don't like, what is your thought on it? Like, are you the one in the corner like, she shouldn't have wore that? Or are you the one like, I like what she tried to do there? You know, you have two different people in the world. Like, how do you think about things? Like, pay attention to your thoughts. thoughts. Pay attention to how they sway you into thinking this, like, okay, if I work out, well, I'm gonna be tired. Well, no, maybe not. It's really just a matter of like what your thoughts have talked you into. Another important thing for having a positive mindset is being compassionate with yourself. So like when you make a mistake, or maybe you had a goal on your list that you wanted to accomplish and you didn't, be okay with not accomplishing that on your timeline. The more compassionate you are with yourself, allowing yourself to like make mistakes and to do things that you wouldn't normally do, the further you're gonna get, because it allows you to be yourself. It allows you to know that it's okay that I didn't do it this time because I have next time. So be compassionate with yourself. Like, stop digging yourself into the ground because you didn't reach the amount of followers you wanted to reach, or your business only sold 10 things last month. Like, embrace all of it. Like, just be compassionate with yourself for even trying and take it from there. And last but definitely not least is finding your passion, your purpose, whatever you want to call it. I don't know who y'all pray to, who you believe in, who out here making changes for you, but we just gonna say the universe, right? Find your passion. Let the universe work in your favor. Believe that, run towards that, determine what you're passionate about. Like, you're not gonna figure out your purpose unless you embrace finding your passions. And to find your passion, what did I say we gotta do? We gotta step out the box. We gotta make some changes. We gotta change our mindset. We gotta practice mindfulness. We gotta do all of that, because ultimately it's gonna get us to finding our purpose. We're gonna be passionate about this. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna realize, okay, this is what I was put here for. Like, I finally realized it. I wasn't put here to work at McDonald's. I wasn't put here to be a janitor on top of the moon. No offense to anybody that does any of that, but you just know, like, hey, I wasn't put here for this because I figured out what my passions are, and that led me to my purpose. So you have to be able to put those things into play. Now, 2 strategies that really help me like put this into perspective is getting a hobby. Like, let's be for real, get a hobby, because a hobby is going to help you figure out what you like to do. I know I've said that a million times, but even if it doesn't help you figure out what you like to do, it can be something you already like to do. It's just going to give you that time and that space away from your everyday life and the things you're normally doing. A great example is I also do graphic design, but I didn't realize this until I started doing it as a hobby, and then I figured out I liked it, and I eventually turned it into a business. So now it's a hobby that I enjoy, but it's also a stream of income. And the next is going to be to figure out what motivates you. We don't always have motivation, and a lot of times discipline is going to have to get you through when motivation won't. But if you realize what gives you motivation, that can easily get you to a point where you do it on your own. It almost becomes like a habit. And so there you have it. Those are going to be the 10 life lessons I learned in my early 20s that you need to start focusing on so you can learn them in your early 20s. Remember though, it is a long process. It is an ongoing process. It's not something you're going to start today and finish tomorrow, but the more aware you are of it, the more likely you are to actually get through these lessons, learn them, and get on to the next part. Remember that life is just a continuous process of learning, growing, and figuring out what you're here for. All of these experiences are to help shape us into who we're meant to become, who we want to be, and ultimately do all of the things we like set our pretty little heart on doing. And also, which one of these lessons like are you currently going through? What are you working on right now? I would love to know like where all of y'all are at based on like your ages and what you're currently experiencing. So if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, drop a comment down below, and let me know if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.